can't be canceled, there's no way that you can stop me. I'm fully independent, there's no label who can drop me. Y'all been starting rumors, let me help you with some. Yeah.
I'm a racist, I'm a sexist, I'm in love with Donald Trump.
Y'all can't cancel me, my life is scandal free. There ain't no sponsors taking losses cause the brand is me. My hands are clean, my family and my fans agree. Y'all can't cancel me for facts because you're mad and weak. Go ahead and tell the world I'm ugly and racist. I braid my hair and I don't care about cultural appropriation. I lived in the ghetto, lived in South Central, there's no Caucasians. And still I loved every single one of my neighbors. How's a man say I'm clickbait if he gonna use this face to get clicks on his page? Y'all hypocrites are bitch made. But I ain't tripping about these bullies, it ain't 6th grade. Go ahead and diss me trying to sell a couple mixtapes. I'm not afraid, take my face and my name, paste it on the front page. I'm already famous and you'll never change it by hating or claiming you'll take it away. My grind wicked, write my rhymes different. You could try to quantify defying limits as a dying gimmick and denying winning. This is pure fire, this ain't white privilege. I do what I want, get all the Gucci and Louis Vuitton out of my closet, out of my crib, I do not want it. That is for kids, that is for rappers who ask you to produce their beats for free, pretending online like they rich. I am not playing it safe, I said what I said, it is what it is.
I don't care if you mad at me, okay? Go ahead and change the channel. Don't waste your time trying to cancel me, okay? They love me cause they know that I'm an asshole. Say what you want, I guess it is what it is. Haters can talk, but they can't cancel the kid. Go ahead and go off, try and say this is it. But I swear to God, you can't cancel the kid.
Everybody knows my name, from local folks to global fame. I'm vocal about the social justice movements. I expose the fakes, turn rappers into ghosts and graves. Make no mistake, they bones will break. I'll throw them in the wolf enclosure, slowly turn and close the cage. Acres full of sheep, you know that I'm the only goat. I'm great, they spoke my name to mostly hate. I don't complain, I'm woke, I wait. A total focus soldier, wrote the art of war. Know every page, I'm numb to all the dumbness. Smoke tobacco laced with Novocaine. I won't behave, I stoke the flames. I'll choke their throats with golden chains. Use vocal cords as skipping ropes and jump till I am soaked in brains. From open plains to coastal waves to solar rays in open space. Can't find nobody doper unless you poke your veins and snort cocaine. Whoa, y'all can't cancel me. Just get mad that I'm the man until you smash the screen. Like whoa, I can handle heat. I walk through hell in open sandals drinking gasoline. Yeah, I could've been a star, could've had a mansion and a car and a Grammy album on the charts. I'm a savage, Randy with the bars. I don't rap about Xanax, goddamn it, can't cancel facts. We need answers, championing trash to the masses actually massively damages, yo. Keep trying to cancel me, yo. I own the masters, so yo. I make the beats, I write the songs, I own the cameras, yo. I could've been famous, dumb my music down till it's basic. Get it on the hottest Spotify playlist, modify my catalog and go mainstream, yo.
I don't care if you mad at me, okay? Go ahead and change the channel. Don't waste your time trying to cancel me, okay? They love me cause they know that I'm an asshole. Say what you want, I guess it is what it is. Haters can talk, but they can't cancel the kid. Go ahead and go off, try and say this is it. But I swear to God, you can't cancel the kid.
I feel like all these rappers lately on a mission. They starting drama, they don't really want no problems, so they talk in whispers. Don't even start, no competition, y'all are finished. They say they feeling froggy, but I bet none of these frogs gon' rib it. They think I'm soft, but I promise y'all that I'm solid like a rock inside a Teflon box and dipped in carbon fiber liquid. I'm not religious, but I walk with Christians. If Jesus died for all my sins, he'd need 1,000,000 crosses tall as buildings. Y'all can't cancel me. I'm a god and you're the devil, stop attacking me. Like whoa, nails in my hands and feet. Y'all some snakes, I don't need fruit from that apple tree. I ain't doing features or buying beats. I'm a wolf, I don't lie with sheep. I am what I am, and I can't hide my teeth. Way too many rumors, I'm like, who said it? Never met him, if he dissed me, probably about to drop a new record. I do what I want, don't matter if I get approval or not. Y'all ain't gonna cyberbully me or try to push on me until I'm becoming some dude who I'm not. Head full of ludicrous thoughts, producing the songs. My music is truth and you brutally shocked. I'm shooting my shot, I'm Biggie, I'm Shady, I'm New School Pac. Go ahead and call me a piece of garbage, make a starving artist your primary target. I'm the largest monster in the farthest darkness, I'm a closet sharpened, I'm an army sergeant. If people wanna hate, then I'm grateful. It's only gonna make what I say less painful. Look at my face, embrace, I'm unstable. I ain't gonna break or shake or feel shameful.
I don't care if you mad at me, okay? Go ahead and change the channel. Don't waste your time trying to cancel me. what you want, I guess it is what it is. Haters can talk, but they can't cancel the kid. Go ahead and go on, try and say this is it, but I swear to God, you can't cancel the kid.
Hey. Alright. Welcome. If you're new to my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can chat. I'm going to be doing a members only live stream soon, sometime this week, because I haven't done one in like forever. And I still have to lower all the videos. I haven't lowered them yet. So I promise you guys I'm lowering them. LSU won't the College World... Oh, you mean one? That's where Dayton wants to go. Dayton has plans to go to LSU. So I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. Hold on. Let me go charge my phone. Hang on. What? Are you still eating that bone? Let me just tell you, Winston does not mess around. This 4-pound dog scared the shit out of Buka. Buka's like leaving him alone. Buka tried to take his bone. Winston wasn't having it. Nope. He was like, oh, hell no. Just not having it. So, it's all right. A couple of things I want to say. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. So some of you guys are probably wondering what I'm doing over the last couple of days, why I'm not like addressing anything. All of them are dead to me, like dead. I didn't listen the first time. I'm not going to listen the second time. I keep getting emails. People keep trying to get me to talk about. No, not happening. Dead. And for those of you that don't know me too well, once I'm done with you, I'm done. Like I'm just done. So all the people that keep sending me stuff about videos that were made, I never saw the first one, so I certainly don't give a shit. So please stop sending me stuff. I truly don't care. These people are dead to me. They're just not even like nothing. So you could stop sending me shit. Thank you. All right. So also announcement, Patreons, you guys have a video that I sent you guys. You got to let me know if you want more or if it's not your thing. But I am so hooked on this fucking show, and I can't find anybody that watches it. It's called The Idol on HBO. Anybody in here watch it? Because I am fucking hooked on it. And it keeps getting crazier and crazier and crazier and crazier. And I have no one to just talk about it with. So I copied it for Patreons, and I sent it in Patreon. I recorded it, I mean. So all Patreons, you guys got it. So watch it. Let me know if you're interested. And I'll send you the other 3 because I absolutely I'm so hooked on the show. You've been watching it? I am so hooked on it. Yeah, all Patreons, you guys got episode 1. So far, there's 4 episodes. Hey, Randa. And I'll definitely record all 4 if you guys want. But I'm just it's Stone, you would like it. The first episode was like Britney Spears without mentioning Britney Spears. I personally think it's loosely based on Britney. I really do. Yeah, like Patreon. Not Discord, Patreon. And it's loosely based, I think, on Britney Spears. But it's about a girl in the industry who, very pretty, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It's very sexy. It's very Britney Spears-like. I don't know how else to say it. I feel like I'm watching a kind of like a it's about Britney, but we can't say it's about Britney kind of thing. You know, then she gets brainwashed, and it's just a lot of sex, a lot of intensity, a lot of music, a lot of dance, a lot of stuff about the music business. It's just very intense, but it's really good. And the first episode I thought wasn't going to be as like dark in the other episodes, but all the other episodes are pretty fucking dark. It's pretty intense, but it's good. So I haven't watched episode 4 yet, and that's all they're up to so far is 4. I watched 1, 2, and 3. But like I said, let me know. Patreons, if you want me to upload more, I'll upload more. I know not everyone has HBO. Not everyone, has the capability. Thank you, Denise. Not everyone has the capability to even record it. So I have all the above. So that's why. But I can't believe nobody in here, I really want to talk about it. Nobody's watching it. So I'm going to force Patreons to watch it. Absolutely force you guys. So the other thing that I want to tell you guys is, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I'm kind of going in a different direction when I'm not talking about true crime cases. So let me explain.
Yo, don't hit subscribe. I always try to tell them, they do it every time. I tell them there's a problem, but they acting like it's fine. I'm begging them to stop, but they leave me with a like.
Okay, this channel, not my other channels, but this channel was originally created for true crime. And anything else that went on in other, off topic, but I blasted voices during a live stream, told her she's jealous of you because you called her out. Okay. The thing with her though, Thunder, all she does is lie about me. She lies and then other idiots follow it and run with it, and I just can't keep up with all of her lies. No, you didn't have to delete that. I was answering that. And it pisses me off that she feels the need to lie about me all the time. That shit is aggravating. But one of the things that I wanted to change, or when I'm not doing true crime, what I want to do is not so much reaction videos, but kind of reaction videos. I want to find videos on the internet that interest me, that I think will interest you guys, that kind of stuff. I know the 29th, Chad Duerman as court, but I don't know. I just want to find stuff that I'm interested in, that I think you guys will be interested in, and kind of take the channel that way in conjunction with true crime. Don't worry, I'm not giving up true crime. But last night at like, well, actually, let me do the Titan stuff first. So as I was getting ready for this live, I came across a video, which I'm probably going to get struck for, but it's worth playing because I thought it was pretty good. And there are a couple things about it I want to discuss. But being that it's put out by Encyclopedia, I'm sure I'm going to get busted for it, but that's okay. I'll just stop it every couple of seconds. But I saw this video about Titan, and certain things I want to point out, which I never really thought of before. So without further ado, let's start with that. Last night was interesting. Yeah, stuff like that. And wait till you see what I have later after this Titan stuff. I found it at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, oh my God, this is like really interesting and mind-blowing. And it kind of goes with the Titan stuff, even though it was from a year ago, but I think you guys will really enjoy it. I know I did. All right, let me get to this. Oh, wait. But yeah, we're going to do a combination of reactions on paranormal, even some true crime. But right now, you know, everyone's thinking of the Titan stuff, and I'm glad I found this other thing yesterday. All right. So this video is only about 10 minutes, but I think it's pretty good.
Catastrophic implosion. The unthinkable became all too real this past week as we learned of the fate of undersea explorer Stockton Rush's Titan submersible on its way to the Atlantic grave of the Titanic. The questions, the second-guessing, David Pogue tells us, are likely to continue for a long time to come.
Last summer, a company called OceanGate invited Sunday Morning to join an expedition to the Titanic. At the time, I was thrilled.
Next time I come out of this doorway, I'll either be a changed man forever or cursing the bad weather.
As the whole world knows now, OceanGate's business was taking adventure seekers on these Titanic dives
Well, we're sitting on the Titanic.
We are on the Titanic.
for $250,000 a ticket on a one-of-a-kind carbon fiber submersible called the Titan.
Carbon fiber is a great material. It's better than titanium. It's better than a lot of other materials.
This is Stockton Rush, the CEO of OceanGate and the designer of the sub. Last Sunday, as he was piloting the sub to the Titanic, it imploded, killing him and his 4 passengers.
We spent 9 days at sea with Rush last summer, and in wake of the tragic news, we thought you might like to see more of what we saw and hear more of what Stockton Rush said.
The Titan wasn't like any previous deep-sea submersible. There was no dashboard, just a touchscreen computer and a single power button.
We only have one button, that's it.
Wait a minute, I've seen submersibles, and they are banks of controls, like cockpit after cockpit.
Exactly. This is to other submersibles what the iPhone was to the BlackBerry.
But many of its components seemed surprisingly cheap. For views outside the sub, he had installed store-bought security cameras. As for the ceiling lights,
I got these from Camper World.
and then there was the steering unit.
Okay, so while I'm watching this though, my first thought was, why does it matter? Do you really need top of the line camera equipment? Not really. You're not searching for stuff that needs to be recorded. You're not searching for stuff that, you know, like you're measuring like other divers would. You're just visiting. You're just going down there and, you know, looking at something. So you don't need all that top equipment. There was no reason for it. Most of the submersives go down there to you know, find out about the ocean water, or, you know, different degrees that you're going to, you know, different degrees that you're going to see stuff on. And I don't know. I just feel like for what he was doing, he didn't need top of the line equipment. It didn't matter where he got his lights from or the camera. So I disagree that they're putting a measure on that, because who cares where the lights came from on top? You know what I mean? It just doesn't matter.
You run the whole thing with this game controller.
Come on! So it seems like a lot of the way you made this is by taking off-the-shelf parts and sort of MacGyvering them together.
Yeah, pretty much.
Does that not raise anybody's eyebrows in the industry?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, no, I'm definitely an outlier. There were a lot of rules out there that didn't make engineering sense to me.
Everyone I know keeps asking me the same question. Why would you get on that dangerous sub? Well, first of all, Stockton Rush had the credentials. He majored in aerospace engineering at Princeton. He designed and flew his own airplanes. He designed previous submersibles. Second, he was emphatic that the important parts of the Titan were rock solid, like the carbon fiber body for which NASA served as a consultant.
There's certain things that you want to be buttoned down, and that's the pressure vessel. Once the pressure...
Now, what they described next, I did not know. And I think it definitely changes everything.
Vessel is, you're certain it's not going to collapse on everybody. Everything else can fail. Your thrusters can go, your lights can go, you're still going to be safe.
Third, I was convinced by an expert, P.H. Nargelet, the veteran deep-sea explorer who also perished in the Titan. Over the years, he'd been to the Titanic more than just about anyone.
How many times have you been?
With the last dive, 37 times.
You've been to the Titanic 37 times?
Yes. I was in charge of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 subs.
How different is the Titan from those other subs?
Completely different. Most of them, you have a sphere.
Was there never a point when you wondered about the safety of the sub at that depth?
No. 2 or 3 years ago, I had a phone call with Stockton, and he explained to me that he was doing a lot of tests. He showed me the ways they were building the stuff. I said, okay, that's fine. That's fine. I have no problem to dive in the sub.
I was also impressed by the sub's 7 redundant systems for returning to the surface.
These are roll weights. We can actually roll this up and those come off. That gains us some buoyancy to come back to the surface. Okay. These triple weights, we call them, are hydraulically driven.
Expedition manager Kyle Bingham.
Underneath this tray hang these bags. We're around 35 pounds. And those hang down there. Typical dive will have 8 of them. We can also use our thrusters. We have enough power to thrust back up. And then under this last fairing here, we have our variable ballast tank, or soft ballast. It's an air bladder that we use a big 10,000 PSI air tank that's under the tail to fill that up, fill it with air, and then it helps bring us to the surface.
There were even sandbags that detach automatically after about 16 hours, even if everyone inside had passed out. Their connectors would dissolve in seawater.
So you have a backup of a backup of a backup of a backup of a backup.
Correct.
All stations are reporting the dive is go. Please stand by.
Finally, the crew seemed to foster a culture of safety. There were checklists, inspections before and after every dive, and a 3 strikes rule. If 3 things seemed out of the ordinary, no matter how minor, they'd cancel the dive. I learned that the hard way on our own dive.
We're in the water, we're floating. Woo!
At this point, divers are supposed to detach the sub from its launch platform.
So apparently those floats there came off the platform, and that wasn't supposed to happen.
So we're scrubbing?
Yeah, I think that's the consensus up here.
Copy that.
I never did see the Titanic, and I wasn't unusual. In OceanGate's first 2 summers of Titanic operations, it spent a total of 50 days floating above the shipwreck site. But because of waves, bad weather, and malfunctions, the Titan actually made it to the Titanic only 12 times. But through it all, Stockton Rush defended his unconventional approach.
I mean, anything when you're trying something outside the box, people inside the box think you're nuts. Same thing when Elon Musk was doing SpaceX. Inside the box, everything's scary.
But as early as 2018, there was concern about the Titan's design. A former employee says that when he raised safety concerns, Rush fired him. That same year, a group of submersible engineers urged Rush to seek certification of the Titan by a safety agency. Rush declined, saying that regulation would stifle innovation.
At some point, safety just is pure waste. I mean, if you just want to be safe, don't get out of bed, don't get in your car, don't do anything.
Yeah.
At some point, you're going to take some risk, and it really is a risk-reward question. I said, I think I can do this just as safely by breaking the rules.
So, Captain McLaren, have you spent much time in submarines?
David, my total time under the water, divorced from the outside atmosphere, is a little over 5 3/4 years. No kidding. Fact.
Retired U.S. Navy submarine captain Alfred McLaren is not impressed by OceanGate's innovations.
I mean, would you fly in an airplane that somebody excitedly tell you, well, it's going to be a lot cheaper because we found a new way of attaching the wings? Yeah, right.
He theorizes that
I thought that was an absolutely brilliant comment, and it puts things in a different perspective. You're right. I wouldn't go on a plane if it was a homemade plane. I'm not going to risk my life like that with, sewn on handmade wings. I get it. Totally get it.
that the Titan failed not because it was made of carbon fiber, but because it was made of 3 dissimilar materials: carbon fiber, titanium, and plexiglass for the porthole.
That I did not know. I absolutely did not know that it wasn't all carbon.
When you have different materials, different molecular structure, they have different coefficients of expansion and compression, and then you make repeated cycles in depth, of course you're going to work that seal loose. And that's why submarines don't run around with any portholes at all, come to think of it. It's a weak point.
I think there's a great, almost surreal irony here, which is Titanic sank because the captain took it full steam into an ice field at night on a moonless night with very poor visibility, after he had been repeatedly warned by telegram, by Marconigram.
In an interview with Anderson Cooper, filmmaker and veteran Titanic diver James Cameron pointed out a sad parallel between Stockton Rush and the captain of the Titanic.
The arrogance and the hubris that sent that ship to its doom is exactly the same thing that sent those people in that sub to their fate.
The world mourns the loss of Stockton Rush, P.H. Nargeolet, and their 3 passengers, British billionaire Hamish Harding, Pakistani businessman Shahzada Dawood, and his son Suleiman. Already there's talk of restrictions and regulations and lawsuits. Will the OceanGate disaster mean fewer people going adventuring? Well, every year people do die skydiving and scuba diving and climbing Mount Everest. Tragic every time, and yet people still keep coming. Some people...
Carol, it's not a matter of being approved because there is no approval. There's no governing factors of underwater for divers either. Anyone could go be a diver. You could dive down. There's no governing factors. That's going to transfer to my next video. You'll see.
People just have that itch. For them, danger is the point. The risk of dying gives meaning to living. I think Stockton Rush was among them.
I wanted to be sort of the Captain Kirk. I didn't want to be the passenger in the back. And I realized that the ocean is the universe. That's where life is.
Catastrophic.
So that was video 1. So in my quest last night, I was working on the candles for my store, which Google, let me just tell you, you would think Google and YouTube is so up to date and that their technology is so up to date. They have the most fucked up techwear. I updated all these candles. When I go to open the store on YouTube, it still shows the old candles. How is that even possible? The old candles aren't even on the website. They've been deleted. But Google takes time to update it. It should be instant. I am so disappointed with Google and YouTube. So that's why my store is not, I keep putting it down and up, and, you know, because I'm waiting for all the pictures to update. So yeah, that's why you may see my store up, and then you see it down, then you see it up, then you see it down. I just can't believe how fucking slow their things are. But anyway, 3 o'clock in the morning last night, I'm looking for something to watch while I'm doing these candles. And I come across this video. I said, oh, this looks interesting. Maybe it's about, you know, the Titan. Because you guys know I've been like hooked on this story. So I'm going into it blind. I don't know anything about the people. I just see the videos got over 1 million views. So I decide to watch it. And I'm hooked on it. Absolutely hooked on it. Dan, I think you're going to bed. Oh, you're Phoenix. So I'm bringing it to you guys. And I want to know how you guys feel. And I didn't give a lot of information on it because I want you guys to be as blind as I was. And if you know these guys, you know the story, don't say anything.
Buddy, it's Woody. Hey, I brought back Elle because some of you
people
requested. There she is. She likes to sit on my lap. Are you okay, baby? Okay. She's going to go back to sleep down there.
Today we have a very interesting clip to react to. This one I actually found myself. You know, I like watching YouTube videos too, like everyone else. And I was actually, you know, looking at YouTube, and one video got recommended to me. It was something like top 10 final goodbyes or something like that. Like, these are people that were in really tough situations and they had a camera and film like their final goodbyes. Like, I'm about to die. Like,
wow,
I love you. Say, I love the kids, you know, kind of thing.
Wow.
Their final goodbye.
Okay.
Pretty tough video to watch.
Yeah.
And one of the videos caught my attention. I think it was number 3 or whatever on the list because it was a diver. So this diver got stranded in the middle of the ocean.
Whoa.
I don't really know the details why, but I guess he surfaced and the boat had left or something happened.
Okay.
But he was alone in the middle of the ocean, and he had a GoPro that he took in the dive. And he, you know, the night was falling. Like, he was, you know, nobody was rescuing him. He couldn't see any boats.
Wow.
Worst case scenario, right? Just horrible. And he basically recorded his final message and said, you know, it's about to go dark. You know, goodbye, everybody, type of thing. So the clip was super short in the video that I watched. So I said, let me see if I can go find the full video so I can watch. I wanted to watch the whole thing, and I found them. I found the long video, the long version of it. So that's what we're going to be reacting to today.
Wow.
Because I think that there are some things we can learn from it. Safety things, especially because
so
I know.
I'm going to assume, since they have the video, he's alive. Or I mean, he survived it. I mean, how else did they find the camera? I have no idea. Anyway.
What we know is that they found the video.
Okay.
But
whoa.
I think there's a lot of things we can learn from it.
Okay.
And I grabbed a couple things that I always dive with that he didn't have in his dive that I want to kind of bring in, because I know that a lot of people watching this channel are either thinking about becoming scuba divers or they're brand new scuba divers. So it's good for us to share some of those safety items and, again, learn from other people's tragedies and mistakes in some cases so people can dive safer. So
you're going to start playing the video and we're going to react to it right now?
That's right. Let's go for it. By the way, let me just full disclaimer. This guy's stranded in the middle of the ocean for several hours. GoPros don't have the best audio, so the audio is going to be rough. But he's also frustrated, and there's a lot of cursing. So I'm
sure there is. I mean, wow.
I'm just going to preface this that if you don't like foul language.
Do we know if he's alive?
Well,
Crimson Crime, why do you have to be that one fucking asshole that has to ruin it for everybody? I set this up a certain way. Please tell me why there's always got to be one fucking asshole. Jesus Christ.
Well, let's watch the video. Let's watch the video and see. Hold on. Let me pipe the audio so people can actually listen to it.
Okay.
All right. So that's him in the middle of the ocean, 30 nautical miles, floating out there. I'm glad the ocean wasn't rough. So
I've been trying to look this up all day, and I keep forgetting. How far is 30 nautical miles? Because I know it's not like 30 regular miles. 30 nautical miles. How far is that? I don't know anything about nautical miles, and I really haven't looked it up. Does anyone know, or should I just look it up? But this poor guy is like in the middle of the fucking ocean. No boat in sight. Like, can you imagine? And he's got his GoPro.
So that's a good thing.
I'm going to grab my keyboard to pause.
Oh, yeah, let me pause it.
I already have a question.
All right, go ahead and...
At this point, do we know, just to set it up, how long he's already been out there, just now, where it starts? Do we know any of that?
He will be announcing that in the video as well, but I think at this point it's about 2 hours that he's been floating out there. Don't forget to turn it on.
He doesn't look happy. That's why I'm asking.
No, he's... Yeah.
He already looks worn out. That's why I was asking that, everybody.
Yeah. But the ocean is not super rough, so that's a good thing. Mm-hmm. This happened in Australia, by the way, I believe. And you know, in Australia, everything is...
Okay, so 30 nautical miles is 34,000 miles. All right. 34,000 miles. Imagine that. Imagine being 34,000 miles from land. Damn.
It's not to kill you, so...
True.
Okay. Yeah.
2 hours, 39 minutes. Contemplating life in the cold. 20 degrees.
So 20-degree water, which is 66, 68 degree water. So it's cold.
And he just lifted it up. Was that a wetsuit or a dry suit?
I think he's on a semi-dry wetsuit. He's not on a dry suit.
That's cold after a while, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, he's been there for 2 hours and 40 minutes or so, floating in the ocean. Plus,
think about that. 66 degrees, Fahrenheit. You're in the middle of Australian Ocean. Think about it. What would you do? And I'm like trying to work at 3:30 in the morning, and I'm watching this. I think it was right after Alicia's live ended. I was listening to that. Then is when I found this, and I'm like, oh my God, could you, maybe it was 4 in the morning, but I'm like, could you fucking imagine? Holy shit. I could not even imagine looking around and knowing nobody.
plus the dive time. Because he dove, remember. He finished his dive, he came up alone.
I mean, I have so many questions already. One question would be, for example, where is he? How far out is he? Is there current? Is he...
Now, mind you, I wanted you guys to go into this the same way the guy in the hat was and the same way that I was. Clueless, like didn't know anything about any of this.
moving towards something. Like, do they know any of that? I don't know, but I guess we'll find out as the video goes on.
Yeah, so I know a couple of those answers. I know that he's 30 nautical miles from the shore, so he's far out there.
Okay.
And as you know, like, you're 4 miles from the shore and you can't see it. Like 4 or 5 miles away from the shore is gone. You can't see anything. This guy's 30.
And he certainly doesn't know that, right?
Right.
Sitting out there? Okay.
Yeah, he just went on a boat for a dive on a wreck, and now he's, yeah. So yeah, let's keep watching.
Says it's 19. They'll make this tougher.
19 degrees water. So that's about 66 degrees. 64, something like that. Fahrenheit. Now here's an interesting thing that I want to point out.
And I was just thinking something else as well.
Why do you think his SMB's laying flat? Do you see an advantage to that?
An advantage?
Yeah. By the way, SMB stands for Surface Market Buoy. It's that orange, sausage that he has open. We typically have it standing out of the water so the boat can see you in the distance easily.
The only thing I can think of is either he's somehow using it as a flotation device and throwing his arms up to rest at times. That's
30 nautical miles is 34,000 regular miles. So I guess it's 10,000 miles for every nautical mile? Or every 1,000? I don't know. Something like that. But they said it was 34,000.
That's one possibility.
Yes.
Another possibility that I've heard in the past is that, let's say you do want to be really moving on the current. That's why I asked earlier, does he know where the current's going? That thing will drag you on the surface. If you lay it down, it'll literally drag you somewhere. So it's like being towed. For visibility, obviously, for somebody to see you, there's no advantage. I mean, I can't see it laying down being better than sticking straight up. But wouldn't it be, for that long, tiring, just holding it down?
Okay, so it's 35 miles, not 35,000? All right, 34. Okay, so 34 regular miles. So still 30 miles you can't just swim to easily, especially if you don't know which way they were going. No, Kevin, I was just reading what everyone told me.
The whole time?
Yeah, I think so. But I wonder if it helps with visibility from the air. Like if you have a helicopter looking for you, if laying on the blue water makes more sense than standing in the blue water.
Interesting.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Because I feel that from an angle, standing, it's as good as laying. I don't know. This is all speculation.
But I think the elephant in the room that I'm got to imagine everybody would be asking right now is like, how in the world did this guy get left there? I mean, it's a boat, right? He was on a boat dive?
That's right.
I've never been on a boat that doesn't either do a roll call or a count before they leave. It's just standard procedure. Among everything else, the first thing that happens when everybody is on board is, okay, everybody sit down, be quiet. That's typically what they do. Roll call, and then here, right? So, and
unfortunately,
I don't know. I mean, I guess he obviously, man, I wish I could ask this guy, like, did you come up later? Like, did they say, be up in 1 hour? And I came up 2 hours later. So the boat I mean, I want to, he was, whoever this is would know.
Right.
But I would be like, well, when you came up, could you see the boat?
Right.
I mean, were you screaming? Do you have a whistle?
Unfortunately, there is like no information about any of this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, but
like,
that's just
I would tell you if I knew. There's no information. We don't know.
I mean, I want to hear his video and all of that.
Let's keep playing because there's still a lot more to review.
There was a second helicopter coming.
Gus, what is he saying?
I don't understand all of it.
Somewhere.
I think he's seeing that he hears something somewhere, like
I don't know where the rescue helicopter's going.
a helicopter, yeah. So it's like, I hear a helicopter somewhere. It's a big SMB. Look at it.
That's good.
Great sense of humor.
Will they see me?
Will they see me?
Time.
Fourth time coming, a helicopter.
Very calm.
Well, helicopter. The sun's going down.
Oh no.
Can you fucking imagine not knowing which way to go? Not knowing which side maybe land? Or if you're going to go further out into the ocean? Think about it. That's fucking crazy. I would be petrified.
After a trawler for about an hour.
So he saw a boat called a trawler. He saw a boat in the distance. He took his BCD off and tried to swim to try to catch it for an hour and couldn't catch it. So he's just now exhausted, sitting on his SMB.
Sitting on the BCD?
No, I think his BCD, he has it like floating there.
Okay.
And he's just seeing the sun go down, basically. So this is like the final moments when he talks about this is it.
But obviously I couldn't keep up. So that's it. As the sun goes down, they won't do nothing. That's a wrap on old Jakey. I guess.
So I don't know if you heard that, but he said when the sun goes down, they won't do nothing,
Okay.
meaning they won't find me. That's a wrap on old Jakey. His name is Jake.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, at night in Australia, I have dove Australia, but you know, on the surface, as much as I love sharks, sometimes the surface stuff floating around is some mistaken identity. So
yeah,
I hope you're not going to show me somehow they found the video, but something happens to him, but we'll see. I don't know if he gets bit by a shark or...
Let's keep watching. He's giving up.
Don't take your mask off. Probably hurts.
Well, might as well stay here. I won't make it to that trawler before the sun goes down anyway. I've got no lights to signal at night.
That's what I was going to ask.
Never, you incompetent fuck.
So I think that's a dive operator that he just called incompetent.
Oh.
Or he called himself incompetent. I don't know. It's hard to listen, but
he
mentioned that he has no light, and that's why I say it's so important to always dive with a light. Like I had to go upstairs and remove this from my rebreather because it was hooked up into it. It never leaves. I always have it on it. This light happens to last for 8 hours. So if the night falls, I have 8 hours from the time I press the button, 8 continuous hours of running time. Some other lights can last 24 hours. Some others will last a few hours, 3 or whatever. But the point is, having a light is important. People say, well, I'm going to go dive at 2 p.m. The sun is out. What's the point? Well, number one, there's critters and stuff that are under crevices and corals that you can't see without a light. So you need a dive light for that. And number two, if something like this happens to you, you need a light. So he didn't
also,
have one.
You know, you told me a long time ago about like that GPS tracking device when we're drift diving, and I shove it in the pocket now of my BCD. In fact, it was Summer who bought it for me as a gift, but I think she got the info from you, or I told her about it because of you.
Yep.
I knew about him, but I never used him, and you always had one. I'm like, why do you? So now I always carry one.
Yep, this is it. So if you see, that one has my name on it. All right.
Now,
so this is a Garmin, and again, we're not sponsored by Garmin or anything. This is our Garmin InReach Mini on a dive case. I take this on every ocean dive. Every single ocean dive is in my pocket. Basically, I can deploy this thing if I'm stranded in the middle of nowhere.
And I was going to go farther.
Yeah,
When
double
you started-
O-rings.
When you started that, I wanted to add one more thing, that when I dove in Australia, the boat operator issued them to all of us. And we, in Australia in particular, and we had to all carry it. We had to do a little mini training session on it and had to carry them in Australia. Very easy to use. You push like one button and it activates a beacon.
I'm trying to get it to focus.
Anyway,
it's not focusing with the light, but there's a button that says SOS right here at the bottom.
Do we know how far that transmits? Would it have been picked up?
It's all over the world.
So
Yeah,
it would have been picked up.
It's global. Yeah,
Satellite.
Yep. I tested it in the Maldives when I was there because you can text from it. You can actually send text messages. So I was in the boat just in the Maldives diving, and I sent a text message to my wife from the Garmin. It's pretty cool. So I dive with this thing. It's part of the Iridium network. If you're familiar with that, works all over the world. Totally worth it. You have to pay a monthly fee or whatever for it, but I mean, if you dive, it's just safety, right?
Doing your fucking
Let's keep
job
watching.
instead of fucking fishing, we wouldn't be in this fucking predicament. But here we fucking are.
So I think he's saying.
All right, for those of you that are coming in late, understand this. He was on a boat with a lot of divers. They all went for a dive. The owner of the boat pulled the lines back, and somehow he got left. At this point, none of us know how he got left, why he got left, but he came up from the dive and the boat was gone. Nowhere in sight. He didn't want to go too far simply because, you know, if they're coming to look for him, they're going to look in the general area of where he was. So he didn't, I mean, he went after a boat, but he wanted to stay generally in the vicinity of where he was.
Saying that the dive operators were fishing and not paying attention. Maybe he surfaced away from the boat and tried to signal them and they were distracted. I'm not sure.
But where's the dive operator? I mean, another elephant in the room. You all must be wondering. If you're the dive operator and you got back and this guy's not on the boat, go out and look for the guy. You know your coordinates, right? You were the dive operator. You know where you dropped them for the dive.
Right.
Where is he? Where's the boat operator? I don't understand what's going on here. I really, again, man, this guy, if he's, and you haven't told me, but if he was alive,
I
would
knew.
love to pick his brain. Like, how in the world did this happen?
Yeah, I wish I knew where that operator
to
happened.
the port side. They would have fucking seen it. But here we go. Now, fuck. Guess time flies when you're having fun.
I guess time flies when you're having fun. Saying he's thirsty.
I'd be frozen.
Oh, I suppose I just gotta fucking make a run for that fucking trawler. Take my safety sausage and ditch me here. Push me up.
Wow.
He's gonna go for a boat that he sees in the distance. It's like, I think I'm gonna ditch my gear and wish me luck. The equivalent of hold my beer. I don't know what to do.
Chance I got.
Wish me luck. Uh-oh.
I do like that he's thinking it out. That's all I want to say, and I'm going to hit the go button. He is thinking. He's stopping. What can I do? And he's calm. So, impressive. By the way, it looks like some kind of satellite going by in the air up there. Kind of cool.
Oh, man. Look how dark it is, dude.
Millions of square miles. They have to find a dot.
Look how easy that is. Bing!
so frustrating.
Fucking got me, yeah?
Oh.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe fucking plane's coming back. Oh, yeah, the fucking plane would have to come back.
Oh.
There's a fucking plane coming back. There's a fucking rescue boat. Way the fuck over there. Pull that cunt.
That's the end of it.
I'm just my biggest thing that I'm sitting here thinking is, how did this happen? These are standard, number one standard procedure when everybody's back on the boat, do a roll call. I would...
You're going to find out in 5 minutes.
Love this guy to explain. Were you late? Did they just decide to leave you because we lost you and we were going to get help? I don't know. I mean...
See, I thought the same thing, Ink, that he's been in that water for like 3 hours and it's cold. He's like got to be getting tired and delirious. I thought the exact same thing.
You know, how did you keep your calmness? What, if you lived, who found you? We don't know the answer right now. Did he live? Do you know if he lived?
Well, that's the tough thing about these reaction videos is that, you know, you find a video on the internet and you react to it. And then in some cases, you're left with like more questions than answers. You have no idea.
I have so many questions.
Especially on videos like this one where, I mean, it's just the final goodbye and you never know, like...
But we have the video. I mean, there's no way they could have found the video unless they somehow found his body and then the video camera was still connected to him. So that could have happened, or this dude is alive. And if we could find this guy as a follow-up video, we could ask him questions.
Right.
And I don't know the answer, but I mean, he posted this video, or somebody posted this video, and we don't know. I would love to know, is he alive? I want to ask this guy, why did this happen? And what do you do differently now? And
right, though, don't you guys have all the same questions as the guy in the hat? Because that's what I was thinking last time. Like, I can't even believe I'm so fucking into this. Like, I don't know shit about diving, but I was like totally enthralled in this early this morning. But I had all the same questions this guy had, except I'm not a diver.
Did you sue the boat operator? Did you get hurt? How much longer were you out there where the video ended? Where did we just left off? Where he's like, I don't know.
The good news is that when I researched this video, I noticed something familiar about this guy's name, Jacob Childs.
Okay.
That's the diver's name.
Oh.
And then I remember that Jacob Childs happens to dive for Kiss Rebreather. We know this guy.
What?
So yeah, he's definitely alive. And actually, I figured if he's alive, we should just have him on the show and ask him.
Absolutely. Are
Directly,
you kidding me?
Right?
Yes, I would love. You've got to get this, dude. If he's alive and we know him, that everybody would want to talk to. Yes, do that.
Absolutely. So
I'm just left here hanging like.
So there he is, Jacob Childs. Welcome to the show.
Right now.
Right now. Here we go.
That's you.
Afternoon, lads.
Oh my goodness. Okay, first of all, Gus.
Yeah.
What? Can I hug you right now on camera? I cannot believe you somehow. I had no idea, by the way. I'm Woody. I did not have a clue that Gus was going to bring you on this show right now. This is mind-boggling. High five, 100% Gus, and I am so glad to see your...
Now, do you guys see why I set it up the way I did? Because I wanted you guys to be surprised like I was, like he was. That's why I didn't want to give a name. I didn't want you guys to like go look it up. I wanted you guys to be as surprised as I was and as he was. And you could tell he's totally sincere in his, shock.
Your face right now, sir.
There you go.
Yeah, good to be here.
Yeah, so Jakey, obviously we're happy that you made it. We have so many questions. We just watched you out there stranded for 6 hours, and we just want to know why. Like, why?
By the way, once he got saved, he went diving the next day. Just so you guys know, he went diving the next day. This incident did not scare him at all. But now you're going to find out how it all happened. Oh, yeah, he went diving the next day. Yeah, it actually happened.
Hey, why? Why were you out there? Because how many dives did you have when this happened? Like thousands, right?
Yeah, I don't know, somewhere 5 maybe. 4,500.
I mean,
4,500, 5,000, somewhere in there. Not exactly sure.
4.5, 5. First of all, I'm still trying to get grips with the fact that I'm actually talking to you right now. Okay, Gus, total surprise, and I'm very happy. I thought I was just telling Gus, like, maybe they found your camera, like, on your dead body. I'm sorry to say that. I'm glad that's not the case, but
no, I'm still here. Unfortunately, for some people.
My first question, Jake, I have to ask you: had you dove with this dive operator before? Are they a reputable, regular scuba diving operator in Australia? Just start with the big picture, because I'm going to drill down on this. I have to.
I was working there as a freelance instructor, actually. It was probably, I don't know, I guess you could say it was a little bit before I knew my worth. So it was sort of a company that was one of these companies that paid peanuts, basically. You know, you rock up, you get $20 for the day type deal, but it was all a little bit dodgy. So the boat that we were out on was a private person's boat and not what do you call a charter boat. So in Australia, your boat has to meet survey requirements. It has to also be captained by somebody who is a coxswain, at least, which is a national accreditation in order to take paying passengers, sort of like a dive master is, to take paying divers. This person...
Trust me when I tell you guys, every single question you have gets answered.
On this boat was neither.
Wow.
It was all organized by the dive shop, but it was sort of, underneath the table, let's say.
So then were they a private boat that you had dove with in the past, or that had experience, had proper training, had rescue divers on board, had O2, had oxygen, had AED, had understanding of what we need as drift divers for the boat to be able to handle in case of, God forbid, this? Like, were they in the know?
Somewhat. They had all of the equipment. I brought all of the equipment. There was myself and another dive master there. And I think 3 paying customers. So obviously myself and the dive master were all over all of the emergency equipment. And the captain had been thoroughly briefed and had agreed to all of the plans that we had made.
And tell us that was going. You're setting up my next question. So, typically, there's a dive briefing for everybody. We have a lot of non-divers as subscribers, and I want them to know this doesn't happen. Okay, so if you go into diving,
100%.
I'm shocked to hear this. So there was a dive briefing. Tell us what the dive was going to be. Was it a reef? Was it a drift dive? Was it set up to be a 1 hour dive? Did you get separated? We're left hanging from your video. So fill in the gaps.
Okay. So the dive itself, it's a dive wreck. I don't know when exactly it went down. So it was a wreck dive. Sits in about 38 meters of water, so fairly deep. Recreational divers, so very limited bottom time. However, lots and lots and lots of fish and everything. So even though you weren't on the wreck, you could be above the wreck on the line and still have a wicked dive.
Right. So was it set up to be a maximum dive time of 1 hour? That's a standard.
No chance they can make it an hour and 38 feet. I mean, that's 130 feet.
So you had a deco dive?
No, it was a no deco dive. No, recreational
130 foot
only.
dive for no NDL.
But the briefing. But hear me out, guys. I have never been on a recreational dive boat where they haven't said maximum dive time is 1 hour, unless it's a technical dive boat.
Right.
I've never heard them say more than 1 hour. So what was the plan?
The plan was a very limited plan. So it was limited dive time, I mean. So our dive time was planning to be like 4 minutes at the bottom, which is enough to really, really scrape the boundaries of, it was, for a paddy shop, really scraped about close to, the NDL limits according to the table.
NDL limit at 130 is 5 minutes.
Okay. So that's all fine, but still, you always set up a maximum time back on the boat is 1 hour or whatever. So you had a
It was the 4 minutes at the bottom, plus 10 minutes to get down or whatever, and then basically then after that slowly make our way back up. So the dive time was probably going to be about 25. We were going to spend 4 minutes on the bottom once we got there, and then because it was so deep, I had drilled into everybody. Go, okay, it's going to be a no deco dive. There's no deco, but we're going to do some mandatory deco as part of our plan,
safety
just for extra safety.
Okay, no deco, everybody, means he could come up to the surface at any time during that dive without having to stop. That's what that means. Right. Now, when you came up, were you with the other, I think you said 3 divers? Were you ascending together?
So I hadn't even started the dive. This is the bit that gets most people. I can tell by the look on Gus's face too that he doesn't get it either.
No.
So basically what happened was I was the first one in the water. So we had somebody in the water just in case somebody jumped in. There was somebody in there to handle any situation that could arise.
Which is
common.
Dive
Master was the last in the water in this case. So basically what happened was I jumped in. We were in a pretty heavy current, 5 knots current, which is about, 9 kilometers an hour or almost 6 miles.
Yeah.
Give or take.
Yeah, you're drifting fast.
Yeah. So I was in there for about 10 minutes, holding on to a line. But again, holding on, fairly strong current. My arm is getting sore. Right. Everybody jumps in. We go to the front of the boat using a line from the anchor point around to the back of the boat.
So there was a mooring line? It was a mooring ball? Going down to the wreck?
At the bow, I assume.
Yes, at the bow. It was an anchor. We dropped an anchor on it. There was no permanent mooring line.
Okay.
So we then made our way down. It was going to be the dive master, then 2, then me, then 1 behind me. We all started to go down. The person behind me had problems with his ears. So I was holding onto the line. I've gone to grab the line with my other hand. I had a broken hand. It's sometimes not super strong. it slipped out of my hand. And I was like 1 meter underneath the boat, 2 meters underneath the boat. I thought, okay, well, I can either swim really, really, really hard to get back to the line, or I come up alongside the boat, grab the line, pull myself back to the bow, and descend again. Happy days. I had ascended right next to the boat. It was a high-sided boat, not particularly meant for divers or for anybody really in the water. It was a fishing boat. And during this time, so this whole process of us getting to the front, descending along the anchor, doing our, super checks right at the bow before we started to descend, probably 5 minutes, let's say. Start our descent. Probably 1 minute into our descent, I ascended to then pull myself alongside the boat. The captain, if you can call him that, had then pulled in all of the lines, as in the line from the back of the rear of the boat, the stern of the boat to the bow.
Wow.
And we had a trail line out the back also.
With the divers still in the water, he pulled all the lines?
Yeah, he pulled in all the lines so that he could go fishing.
Okay, I was wondering, there had either the current is too strong, which sometimes South Florida charters will do that because they're going to rip off the line. It's too much current, so they'll pull the line and they'll tell you, shoot your SMB and we're going to find you on the drift, or some other crazy reason like you just said, they're going to go fishing.
Yeah, so he was going fishing. So I had ascended alongside the boat, assuming that the line was there. Obviously a little bit of current, so the boat was also behind the anchor line.
Right.
And the anchor line had a pretty decent angle to it.
Right.
Being a high-sided boat, I had nothing at all to grab onto.
Slick.
Super slick.
But could you yell? Were you yelling?
I was talking to the captain. I could hear him as well as I can hear you now.
What, did he talk back?
Of course he did.
He saw you in the water.
Yeah.
Oh my God. This is crazy. I don't understand.
It's like,
how could he leave you?
Yeah. The craziest bit is that we had talked about this in our briefing with him before, and with the briefing with the group, about this exact situation.
Wow.
Saying that if there is a case like this, what would happen would be the boat would disconnect from the anchor line, leaving a buoy. And then the boat would come off, pick the diver up or divers up, come back to the buoy, tie off again. Done. Easy.
Absolutely.
Makes sense.
Total sense.
But he didn't do that.
My main question is, do all fucking Australian men talk this slow? Because I could not deal with it. I could never date a guy that talks this slow.
He then decided by the time that he got his fishing line in, and then tried to throw me the line, I was already pretty far away, thinking, okay, he's just going to follow what we talked about. No problems. Happy days. SMB was inflated. It's a 6 foot long SMB, so pretty substantial. We were talking. I was like, "Yeah, cool. That's what's going to happen. He'll disconnect, come and get me, go back, reconnect, job done."
Right.
Little bit messy of a whole situation, but hey, it happens. Everybody's happy at the end of the day.
Right.
However, that's not what happened.
He had a good hook, and he didn't want to lose it.
No, but okay, so it had nothing to do with what I said in my reaction of he didn't do a roll call. He knew you were in the water.
This is worse.
This is
way worse.
This is why I have no idea now where this goes. Go ahead. Please finish.
Yeah, so I found out later, and I'm not too sure how much I believe this or whether it was just laziness on his behalf, which I tend to lean towards, that he thought that he would wait for the other divers to ascend first and then come and get me. But, I mean, we're in like 1.5 meter swell, so what's that, like 4 foot for Americans, give or take?
Right.
Yep.
And, of course, we're all divers. We all want to look slim. so we all wear black. It's a slimming color, they tell me.
Well, I don't, but yeah.
Yeah. My wetsuit is black with lines.
Mine's light blue, but
lines, or is it lines?
I'm ordering an all pink one. Just actually, my rebreather and everything is pink. But hey, go ahead.
I'm all about the pink too, man. So
Yep.
you and I are on the same.
I love
page
your
about
shirt,
that.
by the way.
Yeah, nice shirt.
It's so funny. Gus is like,
I
hey,
wonder who designed it.
And Gus today was like, you know what? Let's wear our KISS jerseys today. I had no idea why. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, designed by Gus, by the way.
Yeah, team.
All right, so go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm not too sure how much I believed of that story, but I disappeared really quick. Anyway, this
Right.
being this much above the water, SMB was, yeah, it wasn't as effective as I wished it was.
And you did a good job. I mean, on the video, you can see the SMB is fully inflated because sometimes you see students and stuff, the SMB has like 20% air. Like it's, it's
No, this is actually a good comparison. Watch. I'm going to change the speed. Look how fast the Americans talk as compared to the Australian. Watch.
It was
totally
fully
worth it.
inflated.
And it's a big one.
I
It's
mean,
not one of those little baby ones.
No, this was a legit SMB.
Okay,
Yes.
so I still am fine, even if you drifted away. You have an SMB, and he knows that you're not on the boat. This is where I'm still not understanding things yet. So keep going.
You and me both. I have no idea why you didn't come and get me. Yeah, what so the divers had continued.
But okay, so that's another thing. But you're the instructor, and the other guy's a dive master. So why did the dive continue? I don't.
They continued down. The dive master seen that I wasn't there, then they started coming back up again.
Okay.
And because I drilled into them at the beginning and it was part of the dive plan and they were all following the dive plan, which was, even though it's a no decompression dive.
Hey, Grandma Rose, how was surgery? Didn't you have surgery? How was surgery?
We'll still do some decompression stops just in case because we are, 30 nautical miles from shore. Just in case, be a little bit extra safety conscious.
I do that. Sure. Just did that this weekend. I always make some deep stops. So go ahead.
So I said, okay, let's do 1 minute at 15, 2 minutes at 12, and
meters.
so on.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Metric world, mate. Metric world.
I know.
Well, we went to the moon.
Crazy.
We went to the moon. So take it easy.
All right, so
did as well?
I got it. So they're coming back up the line. I'm re-clarifying the boat is still connected to that line as you're drifting to nowhere.
So they had started coming back up the line, but because we had talked about this, these, I want to call them decompression stops, but they're more like adjusted safety stops, minimum decompression, however you want to say it. They had started to do those stops. And so therefore, it takes an extra 15 minutes, give or take, for them to actually hit the surface again, not including their ascent back up from 40 to the first stop. So he was waiting for them to do that, I assume, because he's seen all the bubbles on the line still. By the time they had done that, let's say, 25 minutes later, 35 minutes later, by the time they're back on the boat, best case, I was well and truly gone.
You were gone to the point where
He talks slow, but he's so cute. I don't know what about him I find so cute, but I think he's adorable.
you could no longer even see the boat. Was it that gone?
Yeah, I couldn't see the boat.
Wow.
I did about an hour later see the boat, and I seen somebody standing on the bow of the boat looking for me. At which time I was trying to signal them as best as I could, waving the SMB about, shouting like crazy, and so on, to no avail. I later found out that it took roughly 2 hours from the time that I was, let's say, lost, for him to call it into the Coast Guard.
Wow. So he was looking for you for 2 hours, or?
And yeah, basically until they ran out of fuel, enough fuel to get home.
Okay. So he tried at least.
But they were, I don't know,
but
they were scared probably that they lost you and afraid to call the Coast Guard.
Yeah.
That's the
100%.
only reason they don't call the Coast Guard, right? I mean,
yeah,
100%.
Because the Coast Guard is going to come and say, okay, who's the coxswain or whatever you said. They're going to start asking for paperwork and all of that, and forget, they have nothing.
Okay.
Correct.
All right. So
yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah. So I couldn't get in contact with them. They couldn't find me. Called the Coast Guard. The Coast Guard was quick to react. They sent helicopters straight away and boats. I didn't see any of the boats from then on until the police boat that got me right in the end. But from that point on, I didn't see any rescue boats.
Well, we don't know that part of the story yet. So when you said police boat got you right at the end, we left you off on your video where you were going to ditch your gear and and have your SMB as an additional floating device and make a run for a boat that you saw in the distance.
Trawler.
Yeah.
So that's where we're all at right now.
How far was that boat, by the way?
I would say a kilometer, maybe a bit more.
Yeah. In current.
But it was a trawler in a pattern though, so it was slowly moving away from me in its trawl pattern.
Okay, so let's pick up where we left off.
Okay, about 2 hours, 3 hours into the whole deal, I seen this trawler At this time, there was helicopters buzzing around me. I couldn't signal them. They couldn't see me. They were very close. So I did try for a while to wave the SMB about and things like that, but there was no reaction from them. I seen this trawler and I thought, okay, well, it's probably my best bet. So I start to swim for the trawler. At this stage, I've pretty much already ditched my my lead weight. I still had my my backplate and wing, my regulators and tank and things. But I thought to myself, okay, well, I'm carrying this 15-liter tank, and it's just extra weight that I have to then swim along.
Tinker, can you imagine me yelling at him? Jason, what phone did you buy?
So I also ditched the tank. I kept everything else. I kept everything that could float, for example, to swim, to try and ditch weight as much as I could. After about an hour and a half of swimming and getting no closer to this trawler, I also sort of give up on that idea. It's getting further away, even though I'm swimming for it. So I end up also giving up on the trawler idea. I was starting to get pretty thirsty at this point. Being in salt water with waves, salt in the mouth and stuff like that. Yeah. I thought, I'll hedge my bets and try and stay still. Helicopters are still buzzing around.
And what about coldness? You were in looked like a wetsuit, and that was really cold, 69 or 70 degree Fahrenheit.
It's colder than that, yeah.
That's cold.
64.
Were you cold?
No, I wasn't. The wetsuit I had
Look how cute his dimples are. Do you guys see his dimples?
was pretty decent. And I had also, warmed it up myself using my own body fluids a few times, so it was wasn't too bad. So temperature-wise, I was fine. I was just starting to get a bit thirsty.
Okay.
Yeah. So at some point, the video ended where you say that the plane was coming back. It's like, oh, it looks like they're coming back, and then the video ends. So what happens then?
There is, I think, one more video that might be in that link that I sent you, Gus, which you might want to add into the end.
Okay.
Of the actual rescue bit. Basically this plane came out from, and it was from the customs. And its whole job was to be in the north of Australia using infrared technology to try and stop illegal immigrants coming in from Indonesia and Papua New Guinea and places like that. So they had flown that down to me, basically, and the plane had flown straight there and had taken some bearing marks.
Wow.
Just so it could start its search during the night. And they were just doing some test circles. They weren't actually looking for me yet. But they happened to find me.
That's awesome.
And if you believe it or not, the observer from the plane added me on Facebook. And we had a bit of a chat about it. And he said afterwards that the reason that they found me was not because of the infrared stuff, but because they seen a big bull shark swimming along, and they were wondering what it was doing.
I was about to ask that. I mentioned that in my reaction. At night in Australia, somebody on the surface, that is going to interest bull sharks. I said that on the reaction video. You never knew, though, right, that there were sharks around you? Okay.
No. I mean, it's ocean. I mean, there's always a chance.
No, I understand, but were you thinking about it? Was that something on your mind? Okay.
I love it that the guy flying the plane is like, man, look at that massive bull shark. It's about to eat that poor bass. Wait a minute, that's the guy.
Yeah, I imagine that's what it was like.
Wow.
But you could tell when the plane found me because its circle changed. It was doing circles, and then it was basically going over the top of my head and went over the top of my head so I could look up and see the underbelly of the plane. And then all of a sudden it just changed directions, and then it was circling me. It was going in circles around me. So at that stage, I figured that the plane had spotted me.
Yeah.
And then the plane, I don't know how much of my videos you bleeped out.
Zero.
We don't bleep in this show.
Okay. I don't believe in bleeping.
It'd be a bit of a waste of time with my videos. It'll just be a consistent beat.
Right.
But so basically then the plane sort of left. It went up really, really high. I was like, oh, now the plane's gone. And then a helicopter sort of come in, and then the helicopter also left, and I got no idea what's going on now, because I was like, sure, that plane's seen me. And then the helicopter left, and then the plane just also disappeared. I'd learned later that the plane had just gone really high to stay out of the way of the helicopters.
Cool.
But they were communicating with a police boat, who eventually
they came and got you.
Found me. Yeah. But being that I was diving in the middle of the day in the Pacific with like 40 meters visibility, I didn't have any light.
Right.
So it was also a bit of a challenge to try and communicate with the water police on where I actually was. It's going to sound like a bit of a plug, but it's really not. The only thing that I had that had any light on was my shearwater petrol.
Yes. You can plug that all you
We
want.
love Shearwater,
but
bro. Like it's don't worry about it.
So I'm sitting here thinking, you get on the police boat. Are they now drilling you for information?
No.
They did not say what happened. How did you get lost? What
No.
are the details? Who's the boat operator? It didn't
They
go
did
like
nothing.
that.
Nothing. So we finally finally communicated with the police boat. The police boat came to me. Again, another high-sided boat. And well, what I think is probably one of the funniest moments of the whole thing is I'm not a small fella. And I'm talking, the police boat pulled up beside me and I'm like, okay. I took off my gear because I had it back on. I tried to pass that up to him. He's like, no, we'll get you out first. So that's all right, mate. Take this. And so he begrudgingly pulled my dive gear out of the water first. And then like, okay, now I'm going to try and get up, take my fins so I can try and climb up the side of the boat. And I said, mate, you're going to have to go and get someone else to help you. If you try and pull me out of the water like this, you'll just give yourself a bad back. So it very, very begrudgingly left me at the side of the boat to go and get someone else.
Oh, man.
But I really didn't give him much option because I was not being very cooperative.
Yeah.
And so we got out of the boat.
You're helping me wrong.
Yeah, pretty much.
You're going to rescue me.
I would have been yelling, do not leave me again the whole time.
No. You go back and you help me right.
All right, so keep going.
Start again. We'll start again.
Let's do it again. Give me my gear.
So we get on the boat and they do the normal, are you okay? You have to sit down. I'm like, I've been sitting down for hours, but they make me sit down anyway. Said, can we get you anything? Do you want something to drink, eat or drink? I said, I'd like some a cup of tea if you've got it, something warm. And they said, oh, we don't. All we have is ice cold water. It's like, oh, well, that's what it's got to be. That's what it's got to be. And then, so we off we go, start on our way home. And on our way home, they're talking to me, doing, I guess, basic neurological and whatever exams with me. And they basically just say to me, do you need an ambulance? They end up just asking me if I want an ambulance or anything. And I said, no, I just want a cup of tea. And that's what they radio over the marine channels, that I just want a cup of tea. So I had no ambulance or nothing. Halfway home, they swapped me onto a Coast Guard vessel. I think the Coast Guard in Australia is a little bit different than the Coast Guard in the US. It is voluntary.
Oh, so they have beer.
Yeah, pretty much.
Nice,
it's
nice.
I jumped on there, and of course they had tea, coffee, and biscuits, and like most people do when they're retired and they join a volunteer organization. It was pretty sociable. So then I made my way home. Took a couple of hours, I guess. Then I had an interview with the police sergeant once I got back to shore.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much the gist of it. I being a little bit naive at the time. I didn't tell everything that I probably should have told, and I covered for the boat captain and I covered for the dive shop. And
you earned those $20, bro.
So that was what I was about to just ask, because I won't let it go, but I will always respect a guest. But I'm going to now ask. So the interview with the police sergeant, what did you tell them? And then I want to know about the follow-up conversation with the boat captain. Like, have you spoken? What did you guys say? Like, dude, so go ahead. Tell me the conversation with the police versus what really happened, and then what you discussed with the boat captain.
So, like I said, I was a little bit, I was not dishonest, but I was not
You didn't
honest.
share all the details.
I didn't share all the details.
Right. Well, can you tell me what you told them?
I basically told them that we went for a dive, but it was on a friend's basis and not a commercial operation.
Okay.
So, in hindsight, I shouldn't have done that. I mean, there should have been much more accountability for it.
Right.
And some people really, really should have, got their ass handed to them, I guess is the best way to say it, because, there was a lot of things went wrong in a big chain, and it perpetually got worse. From the fact that procedures weren't followed in the beginning. Diver error probably on my behalf because I was in there for so long. The emergency procedures not followed, not notifying authorities quick enough. It was just me not having what I would consider now mandatory equipment for open ocean diving, such as a PLB, like a locator beacon, mirror, fluorescein, things like that I consider now.
Funny that we talked about that on the video, having a light and a
light. But that's all good. In retrospect, you're safe, and we learn from these things. But the police at that point, they didn't go into much more detail other than, they accidentally left me, but they were just a bunch of friends, and
that was pretty much it.
Well, you told them the truth on that part, though, about how they actually did leave you, like those facts?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But then how did it then go later with the dive operator? And then was anybody else ever notified about this? Like your diving agency? Was there an official PADI reporter, whoever you were diving with, all that kind of stuff?
Absolutely nothing happened. I submitted an incident report to TDI and to PADI, or TDI, SDI and PADI. And I didn't hear anything more about it. Nothing at all happened, to the best of my knowledge, with the actual captain or the dive shop.
Well, he wasn't a certified dive operator or anything, so it's not like they can take away his license or whatever. He doesn't have anything for them to take.
Yeah.
Like, what are you gonna do? I got no license. Like, take it away. All right, whatever. Like.
And so how did the conversation then go with the captain after?
I got picked up from basically the water police headquarters by the owner of the shop, and it was a pretty quiet ride back. He obviously asked me the story. I told him the story. We got back to the dive shop, and the boat captain was there, and the rest of the people. It was pretty emotional, I would say. Not necessarily for me. I think I was still a little bit overwhelmed with everything that happened. The conversation with the captain was pretty what's the word? Non-confrontational.
Confrontational, yeah.
That's the word.
Yeah.
Nothing really happened. I mean, I'm not a particularly heavy spoken, or don't speak too many harsh words in anger. So
the conversation was more like, we're glad everything worked out, glad everybody's okay. Something shouldn't have happened the way they happened, but I'm glad everything worked out. That's kind of how the conversation went. Okay.
Yeah.
Are they still running charters? This particular captain?
They were running charters with that particular captain for many years. I don't know if they still are now, but last I knew they were. Since then, that captain has then got his license in order to do it properly.
Okay.
Whether he should or not, I don't think that he should have. I have known that on a few trips since then, there's been some pretty major issues, such as the propeller falling off the boat, for example, and having to call the Coast Guard again and be towed back to shore, things like that.
Well, then do you think, because I'm pretty sure we're going to get this in the comments, I guarantee you we're going to get this in the comments. Do you think it would be irresponsible of us now not to state who this captain and charter is? I'm asking this as a question. I don't want to hurt them, but you're telling me that you feel like they're still doing things that are not proper, then...
But this happened to you 5 years ago.
Yeah, but
right?
you said that it happened afterwards to a bunch of other people as well, right?
Not the same incident, just other incidents of just...
That they don't have the best track record.
Do you feel... Yeah, okay. Do you feel like there's a safe operator now? Do you feel like you could consciously now, based on the fact that he has a captain's license and so forth, would this be somebody that you would recommend to go scuba diving with?
Not at all.
Well then, who are they?
Because once you've been burnt, it's hard to get that trust back. Like how many chances do you give someone if you know several things that have gone wrong, some being relatively minor compared to others, such as myself, being a fairly major thing, to neglect of maintenance, neglect of whatever else.
Yeah.
Then they listen. I care about the dive community at large. I care about safety protocols. It's in my DNA and in my training. I think you're a course director. I'm an instructor trainer with SSI. I don't know who they are. I don't want to hurt anybody, but for sure, that's what the purpose of incident reports are. If they are not following proper safety protocols now, they should not be doing any scuba diving charters unless and until they remedied it. I'm not saying forever, but they deserve to be able to say, this is what we do now. This is why we don't have these issues anymore. And that's just, we are self-governed because we, in fact, do take our own precautions or inflict consequences to make sure we are safe. Otherwise, we're going to be regulated by the government. And that's the facts, folks. That's the way it runs in our scuba diving world.
Yeah, we also need to have, some accountability for the actions that whether you and I, Gus, take it as instructors or, dive professionals or, whether it even be via, any social media platform, we have to sort of take that responsibility.
Or it's not going to get better, right? It could happen again. 100%. So it's really a responsible thing. But
I think there's a lot to learn from what happened to Jakey, and I'm glad that you agreed to come and talk to us about this. I think one of the things that we haven't really talked about that I think is one of the most important things to learn from this whole incident is your attitude. The whole attitude you had while you were stranded out there, the whole attitude you had right after the incident, and even now is remarkable. I wish everyone out there, and I read some of the articles and interviews that you did where they were just straight up hilarious. Somebody asked, what was the worst part about the whole thing? And you said something like missing out the $15 steak promotion that I get that night at the club or something like that. I thought that was funny as hell. And then somebody says, how come you didn't panic and go crazy or whatever? And you were like, well, what good would have come out of me panicking and going crazy or whatever. Like, you kept it level-headed, and I think that comes, with experience. I mean, there's a certain aspect of being an experienced diver. You have to gain that by diving a lot, and it always breaks my heart when people go and get certified and then they dive like once a year when they go out on vacation. It's like, I want people to go and dive and enjoy this. But there's also an attitude, a thing of, I'm going to do everything that is in my power and in my control, and I'm not going to worry too much about the things I can control. Like, you did everything you could. Like, even all these details that I missed on the video of, I'm going to drop the things that are just causing drag and weight, like my tank. I don't need my tank. I'm breathing. I'm on the surface. I'm going to drop my let weights, but I'm going to keep the stuff that floats, like my BCD and my, my SMB, and like, I'm going to keep the stuff that will help me if I have to spend the night, because if I'm spending the night, everything that floats is going to help me. And the more I stay out of the water, like I saw in some of them, like, you're sitting pretty high up. Like, it feels like the water level is at like your chest. So the higher you are out of the water, the less contact you have with the water and the warmer you're staying. So I think that's the one thing that we haven't really talked about a whole lot in this whole interview and the reaction. But I think that's what kept it, from escalating and ending up like the guy that we keep talking about.
Gator, that's not new. We knew they were going for the death penalty. That is not breaking news. This is why I can't deal with that case. There is nothing breaking about the state goes for the death penalty. We knew they were going for the death penalty. I discussed it months ago. Of course they're going for the death penalty. Why wouldn't they go for the death penalty? It doesn't mean they're going to do it, but of course they're going to do it. It's not breaking. I don't understand why so many people fall for this bullshit. Who cares? Like, and he still has to have a trial first. I understand it just came out today, but we all knew that was going to happen. I discussed it 2 months ago. It doesn't matter if it's official now. Who cares? It's not that big of a deal. Like, and I'm not saying this to you, I'm saying this in general. It's not a big deal. Just because they're saying they're going for the death penalty, that can change. He could be found not guilty. It just doesn't matter. Or it could go against them. I understand, but it still doesn't mean anything. It's nothing. It's literally nothing. Big deal. So they filed for the death penalty. They filed for the death penalty for fucking Casey Anthony. We see how that went. It just doesn't mean anything. It's typical process.
Stab himself in the heart, in the cave to prevent them from drowning. So I think, your attitude through the whole thing was awesome. And I think more people can learn from that.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Well said. Well said and agree. And did you ever...
So that's honestly pretty much the whole video. Now they just talk about like having a light and having a mirror and that kind of stuff. It's only got a couple minutes left. But here's the link if you want to watch it over yourself. Give me one moment. The name of them is Dive Talk. Yeah, they have about almost 300,000 subscribers. This video was a year ago. The actual incident happened 5 years prior. But I thought it was really good. 2 family members want it. It doesn't matter. Who cares? It's not up to the family members. The family members have no say. They can only give an opinion. They can only say, well, this is what we think we want. It's still, at the end of the day, up to the prosecution. Prosecution makes the final decision. Regardless what the family wants. The family doesn't make the law. And that goes vice versa. But ultimately, the prosecution has the final say. And there's more than just 2 family members. There's 4 families. And if it's 2, then it's 50-50. And they decide anyway. You thought what was interesting? What Gator's talking about or this? I thought this was really interesting too. Yeah, Gator's all wrapped up in the conspiracies. And I mean that with the utmost respect, girlfriend. But you get so tied up in this conspiracy shit. And stuff that just doesn't matter. Big deal. The prosecution asked for some before it even went to trial. It doesn't mean anything. It's not big. It's not even news. It's okay, they filed something, and you got all these conspiracy stories, all these conspiracy people that are making such a big deal out of nothing. It's absolutely nothing that they asked for the death penalty. And it's like, oh my God, Brian Kohlberger tied his fucking shoe today. It's that routine. Oh my God, the CO changed his underwear. It's not news. Again, Casey Anthony, they wanted the death penalty too. We see how that ended up. O.J. Simpson, they wanted life in that. We saw how that ended up. It's going to documents are going to be dropped every day. Trust me when I tell you they don't mean anything. They're standard documents. I personally feel not every document needs to be a YouTube live. Because most of the documents mean nothing. I understand. I'm not yelling at you. I'm trying to get you to see that it's not a big deal. And I'm not being a dick to you. I'm not yelling at you. I'm just saying it's not a big deal. People are making mountains out of nothing. And again, I said they were going to go for the death penalty 2 months ago, 3 months ago. So I must have psychic vision. Because I knew they were going to go for the death penalty. Of course they were going for the death penalty. It's Idaho. They're going for death. Doesn't mean I'll get it. Because one thing I don't know, Stone, hold on, let me find something out here. Okay. Even one step further, and this is what I wanted to double check, the judge can overrule any jury verdict. So even if a jury says we want to go to death, the judge can say, no, I don't believe that. I don't want that. Ultimately, the judge has a decision either way. I mean, honestly, I've never seen a judge use his powers like that, but a judge has that choice either way. He can overturn any verdict. And I was looking to see in Idaho who decides the death penalty, a judge or the jury, and it's a jury. For videos of them straight reading the documents rather than lives discussing for 4 hours. To me, there's nothing exciting about the documents. They're standard motion documents. There's nothing in them that's, in my opinion, that's newsworthy. They're standard. Standard back and forth banter documents. And if more people listen to me, then we wouldn't have all this bullshit. But actually, I shouldn't say that, because real true crime creators don't discuss the documents every day. That should tell you something. Established creators, they're not discussing every document that comes out. They'll do every once in a while. But you don't, same thing with the news. You don't see the news doing it either. Because there's really nothing to tell. So keep that in mind. When you see all these creators that are going, live after live after live after live over nothing. because honestly, there's just nothing to tell. But, you know, it seems to be a money game. Brian Kohlberger's seems to be a money and numbers game. Go look at Truth and Transparency. Go look at T-Rev. Go look at a lot of them. Shit is fucking old. Sorry, not sorry, but it's old. I don't know why I keep, whatchamacallit, why my internet sucks at the moment. But I'm going to get off because I got to get back to candles. I have candles to make. Maybe they withstand multiple. Sweet Carolyn, I'm telling you. Believe me, if there was something to report, I would report it. There's nothing to report. Okay, big deal. They asked for the death sentence. No biggie. So, all right. I love you guys. I'll see you guys later. I got to do candles. I hope you guys enjoyed it. But you can also see the direction of the way the channel's going. And I was going to do this a long time ago. And then didn't. Because I got caught up in the drama. But I'm not getting caught. I would much rather do stuff like this when there's really nothing going on with the case. Because I enjoy stuff like this. I enjoy finding like random videos and, you know, doing reactions to them. This one I happen to see. But if anybody knows of a good video or has a good video or a good topic, even if it's true crime that you want me to review, that would be awesome, because then I'm going into it blindly. Like this one, like I said, it wasn't too much of a review because I already saw it. But I think it would be good to find different videos that I never saw before and do a reaction to it. So that's the channel, the direction is heading. Plus, again, plus true crime when there's something to report or there's a case that really interests me. 29th, Fuckhead goes back to court, so we will definitely be covering that. And that's it. All right. Thank you, Monica. Yeah, I thought that was, I don't know, I really got into that last night. I was like, wow, this is a great video. So, yeah. Hey, Annie. So, all right. I will see you guys later. And watch my lives. I'm going to put out a bunch of shorts, too. I started doing that and then I stopped. But I'm going to go back to doing it. All right? So, I'll see you beautiful people later. Thank you guys so much. I know I got a couple of Cash Apps. Much appreciated. Some PayPals and Super Chat. So, thank you guys very much. Don't forget, order your candles, energycandles.com. I'm going to check to see if Google is updated yet, because I cannot believe how fucking slow they are. Shit pisses me off. So, alright, I'll see you beautiful people tomorrow. Have a wonderful night. Peace.